Wake up, Jacob. This is an Israelite prepper, and wow, I have to show you this. It is an old article, but in case it got by you, I want to share this with you. Now, look at the headlines. It says, "Mom denied food stamps, shoot kids, and kills herself," basically. So this happened over in San Antonio. So let's take a look at it. San Antonio, a Texas woman who 4 months was unable to qualify for food stamps, pulled a gun in a state welfare office and held a 7-hour standoff with police that ended with her shooting her two children before killing herself, officials said Tuesday. Okay, now remember, this lady took her two kids into the welfare office to get food stamps. She was denied, and it was down here from there. The 10-year-old boy and 12-year-old girl remained in critical condition Tuesday. Authorities identified the mother as Rachel Grimmer, 38, and children Rami and Timothy. When the family entered the office on Monday, shortly before it closed, Grimmer asked to speak to a new caseworker and not the one whom she worked with before, Texas Department of Health and Human Resources spokeswoman Stephanie Goodman said. Grimmer was taken to a private room to discuss her case. Then she revealed a gun and the standoff began, Goodman said. Police and negotiators stayed on the phone with Grimmer throughout the evening, but she kept hanging up. Laredo police investigators Joe Baeza said she allegedly told negotiators about a litany of complaints against state and federal government agencies. Grimmer let a supervisor go unharmed around 7:45, but stayed inside the office with her children. After hanging up the phone around 11:45, police heard 3 shots, and a riot police team entered the building. Inside, they found Grimmer's body and her two wounded children. The children were very critical and unconscious, Baeza said. Goodman said it's not unusual for caseworkers to confront angry or confused benefit seekers, but that it's very rare for a situation to escalate to violence. That's true. Bazer said Grimmer had recently moved to the border city from Ohio. Now, Grimmer first applied for food stamps in July, but was denied because she didn't turn in enough information, Goodman said. She said it wasn't immediately clear what information was missing. Okay, so I believe that's just about the end right over here. We were still waiting, and if we had that, I don't know if she would have qualified or not, Goodman said. I'm glad they said that. Goodman didn't know whether Grimmer had a job or whether her children were covered under Medicaid or the state children's health insurance program. The family's move from Ohio may have complicated Grimmer's application if the family had no Texas records the agency could check electronically, Goodman said. State welfare offices have come under scrutiny in the past for being overburdened, but Goodman said the agency has made significant progress in the past 3 years. She said wait times are shorter and that Grimmer was scheduled for her initial interview just one day after applying. Grimmer didn't make the appointment, she said. Okay, so this, like I said, this is an old article, but I wanted to share that with you because it actually got by me, so I didn't know if it got by you. But listen, guys, mom denied food stamps. A couple of things going on in this article for me. One, right out the gate, let's just say that killing your children, it is inexcusable and it is horrific. Okay, horrific. All right. So no one is condoning that. That was crazy. That's insane. Okay, you don't kill your kids. But I want you to look at something a little bit deeper because there's a few layers here. She was dependent on food stamps. Now we don't know what was going on that caused her to leave Ohio and move to Texas, and we don't know. But apparently she was on hard times because she's seeking public assistance. So chances are she was actually on hard times. But here's my thought. This is what happens when we become too dependent on the system. Now imagine that. If you could imagine if she would have had some homesteading skills, or if she was able to, grow her own food and things like that. Now, chances are she probably didn't have those skills or whatever, because if you're able to grow your own food and you eat that, you don't have to worry about food stamps. But I want you guys to think about that. When a system fails you, what are you going to do? What are you going to be able to do to help yourself? This is an example of it. This is just kind of an example of what would happen. Obviously, this story is, I mean, there's no other way to describe it but horrific. She has no excuse. So I'm not coming against, the state welfare office or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm not coming against that. I'm just saying that one, a horrible act has been committed. Two, it was preventable in a number of different ways. A number of different ways. But let's just bring it home and make it personal. What would it be like? How different could it have gone if she was not so dependent on the system? Now, if you have some sort of economic collapse or government shutdown and people get their food stamps shut off and their government checks shut off, what are you going to do? See, I'm not poo-pooing, government assistance or anything like that. I say, hey, if you've paid taxes in the past or whatever and been working and hey, it's supposed to be a temporary thing, help you get a leg up or whatever. So I'm not poo-pooing people on public assistance. I'm not doing that. Not wholesale. I mean, obviously there's some who are on it and don't deserve to be, and there's some who are on it, they need it. But here is the thing. Are you preparing yourself for when something like this happens to you? I mean, this is Israelite Prepper channel, so I have to talk about prepping. So what are you going to do if something like this happens to you? Now I know some of you guys are like, well, I'm not on public assistance. Okay, but if you are in a heavily populated center, and this happens to all of them or most of them, and they're in a desperate situation, and they cannot get food for themselves or their children, and everybody is clamoring, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So being prepared doesn't sound so bad after all. Now, does it? Anyway, that's just some food for thought. Wanted to share this article with you. Sorry it's such a dark and grim, horrific article, but I wanted to share that with you because I don't know, I'm pretty much speechless. This is Israelite Prepper. What say you?